back. And as I say, I'm sure you would endorse my new plan, which is to put the migrants on a Stranraer ferry, 130 quid, 4 people in a car. They can go to Belfast and make their way down to Dublin with our compliments. It's got to be a winner, isn't it?
Oh, well, I mean, it is ridiculous for all the bleating of the need to have no border on the island of Ireland.
Yes.
The common travel area, which is sacrosanct. You know, do you remember when it came to the vaccines, the first thing they did was try to shut that border down?
Of course.
Now it suits them again to shut the border down. They want to shut the border down. By the way, I think they're making it all up about
the people travelling. Well,
plan.
I said this earlier. How do we know if they suddenly decide to send, say, 2,000 back? How do we know that they ever were here in the first place?
Absolutely. And it suits the Irish government to blame the Brits. They've done it for 400 years.
Yeah.
The Irish blame the Brits.
Right.
You know, it's just, it's manna for heaven from them to be able to say that we're the cause of their illegal migrant problem, which is causing, by the way, real issues for the Irish government.
Of course.
You know, they've had riots in Ireland in a way that we haven't yet seen it in the UK. But of course, you know, I think we're heading in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's talk a bit about civil servants, the dreaded work-shy civil servants in particular, threatening to go on strike, Ben. Not because they need more pay, not because they want better conditions, but because they're being asked to actually come into the office. Incredible.
Well, this is a really interesting story. So it's the Office of National Statistics who've been asked to come in for 2 days a week. In other words, Mike, they're not even in the office at all at the moment. And so they're threatening to go on strike. But what I can't get my head around is if you're already at home, how do you go on strike? Do you come to the office and then march out ceremoniously for the first time in 3 years? They're going to tip up to the office and then march straight out again. I mean, frankly, they haven't been pulling their weight. And some of the excuses made is that they want to look after their children. Well, if they're looking after their children, they're clearly not working.
No. Also, why are their children not at school, for one thing? And two, are they going to set up some kind of demarcation line between the kitchen and the living room?
Well, they're clearly not, are they? They're having cheese on biscuits and frequent coffee breaks and patting Kate and Johnny on the head and giving them a cuddle or whatever it is they do for childcare.
But, Ben, I mean, you're in business, right? I mean, I was led to believe that over the course of the last, say, 2 years, where you and I have been talking about this, the private sector has got a lot more people back into work. You can see it in London, maybe not every single day, but certainly Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, London is a pretty good bustling centre for people who are going to work. The one place where this kind of recidivism continues and people don't want to work in an office is the public sector.
Yeah, sadly, the public sector is huge. Under successive governments, it's grown and grown and grown, but they don't want to work. And the private sector, which has to make money, has to survive, realizes that you're much more productive when you're in a team, bouncing ideas off each other, being able to communicate instantly, passing instructions down from the board through the executives to those who need to implement decisions. All of that is so much easier if you're on the same premises. Right. It becomes so complex and difficult. If you've got to phone people all the time, send emails, organize a Zoom, much better just to shout across to your colleagues and say, you know, what do you think, mate?
Right. Well, how many times have you had this happen to you? Because it's happened to me a few times where I've been talking to somebody and then you've got to ring them back for some reason or other. And you say, the other person picks up the phone. You say, oh, I was talking to this person because you passed me on to them. Oh, no, we can't do that. And the obvious reason is because they can't see them. They don't know. They're not in the same room, are they? You know.
No, it's not good, and it's been terrible for the economy generally. You know, people not travelling, people not going out. Terrible for the office market, and of course there won't be any sympathy for landlords, which is fair enough. But it's not good for UK PLC.
No.
If the property markets are, you know, becoming moribund because there isn't enough tenant demand and activity in occupation as well as the buying and selling of offices.
Right.
We've got a real issue in the commercial property market. So, you know, there are knock-on effects for these people not being prepared to pull their weight and come back to the office.
Yeah.
They should be forced to do it. And I can't believe their employment contracts don't require them to work from the office.
It's incredible. And at the very least, if they don't want to, there should be a reduced rate. You should go, OK, you want to work from home, you're on half the money. See how quickly they come into work then. You know?
And, you know, the other issue, Mike, is there is a planning restriction on using your home as an office. And I don't know whether people are really attuned to that or local authorities have really woken up to the fact that if we've got offices all across the country when actually it should be residential use, you know, maybe I'm picking a bit of a fine point there, but
no. I think you've absolutely got a great point.
Offices, are they?
Yeah, no, exactly right. And this is why we know that some councils are actually selling off their council premises and keeping the money for themselves, even though it's actually our money. But we could go on all day, Ben, but I can't because I've got to go.